Hi, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for watching and for subscribing. And if you're just visiting, please consider subscribing. So today's video is very exciting because I'm going to share with you my thoughts about Tom Ford's new release, Cherry Smoke. Now, when I learned about this release, I got very excited because Lost Cherry is one of my absolute favorite fragrances. I just love it. And, finding out that he's releasing another cherry scent was very exciting. Now, I thought that this fragrance would be released at the end of 2022. That's kind of what initially was said about it, but it never came out, at least here in Canada. I don't know about other parts of the world, but I was able to get a small decant of this fragrance. And so now I know how it smells and I can share it with you. Now, at the time of filming this, it is still not out in any stores here. From what I understand, it should be released at the beginning of this year, but I don't know for sure. What's also interesting about this fragrance is that, again, at the time of filming, we don't know what notes are included in it, which I think will make this review interesting because, whether we want it or not, but I think we often get influenced by the notes, We read what notes are in a fragrance and then all of a sudden, oh yes, I smell cherry or I smell vanilla and I smell this because we know that these notes are in a scent. And here, I don't know what actual notes are in here, so I can actually tell you exactly what I smell. So let's get started. Again, cannot read you the notes. So we're just gonna talk about the scent. So let me spray it on a blotter. I sprayed it a few hours ago on my hand, so I do have the dry down here. And let's talk about the scent. So, and I should say this, once the notes come out, don't judge me too strongly if I'm totally off on the notes. I don't know. Like I said, I'm just gonna share with you what I pick up in this scent. So when I first sprayed, like literally the first spray, I really get a burst of cherry. Like for the first few seconds, I really get like strong cherry in my nose. And when I say strong, I mean, it's very evident that there is cherry here, but the cherry itself is actually not as strong as it is in Lost Cherry. Like it's sort of a more subdued, perhaps I would say more realistic type of cherry. So you get that burst, like I said, for the first couple of seconds. Then what follows cherry to me is some kind of pepper. Like it's a bit of spice, but I would say it's pepper. I don't know, pink, white, perhaps black, but I do get a little bit of pepper. Pepper is followed by smoke. And so the name of this fragrance is very, very fitting. Cherry Smoke it is. It's very, very smoky. I mean, the note of smoke is quite strong. And then that gets followed by the note of leather. I suppose it could be oud sort of giving out that kind of scent, but if I was guessing the notes, I would say leather. So in the opening, like in the first an hour or so, this is what I get. I get a pretty realistic cherry that's not very potent. It's not very strong, but it is present. There is a little bit of some kind of pepper, like really at the beginning. And then there is a ton of smoke and a ton of leather. So the smoke, I don't know, it could be coming from a number of things. It could be like some kind of really smoky woods, like, I don't know, gaiac perhaps. Maybe there is incense. Maybe there is an actual note of smoke. Like I think I've seen in some fragrances, there is an actual note or a chord, I don't know, of smoke added. Whatever it is, This is very, very smoky. And so for the first hour, you have this combination of cherry, smoke, and leather. When this leather started coming out the first time I tried it, I was immediately reminded of another cherry scent, and that is Cherry Punk from room 1015. Because that fragrance is mostly about cherry and leather, and really, really strong leather. But as I tested this fragrance more and more, I realized that even though both of the fragrances have these two notes, I mean, I'm going to assume that there is a note of leather because that's what I pick up here. They are quite different. In Cherry Punk, for me, leather is absolutely unbearable. It is so rough and tough and unpleasant. I can't stand that fragrance. Whereas in here, the leather, it feels like it's a really high quality leather. Now, it is very present. It is very evident. I mean, for me, there's no denying that there is the note of leather, but it's high quality leather. Now, I won't lie to you and say that this fragrance is for me, because for me, there's too much leather. I don't like this much leather. So I can tell you right away, this fragrance is not for me, but the leather note in here is nice. If you don't mind this note as much as I do, this could be a fragrance for you. So for the first hour or so, again, you get cherry, a lot of smoke, and a lot of leather. And then on me, again, I'm telling you how this fragrance behaves on me. It starts changing quite drastically. Leather note kind of really goes away and becomes almost unnoticeable. Smoke, it remains there, but it really dies down. And now this fragrance really mellows down kind of. It becomes softer and smoother and creamier. And it's like there's a little bit of sweetness coming out as well. So I don't know, maybe a little bit of vanilla, maybe a little bit of benzoin is in the base, not sure. I think there's definitely sandalwood in the base because like after that initial first hour, I get a lot of sandalwood, like that woody creaminess that's typically attributed to sandalwood. And the fragrance changes, like it becomes from this kind of in your face masculine scent to a very soft and beautiful and maybe even a little bit more feminine leaning scent. At least that's how it behaves on my skin. It's very interesting. It really changes a lot. Like I have that cherry with just a little bit of sweetness added, maybe even a little bit of powderiness added. It's like they have a little bit of powder added to this. Not cosmetic type of powder, but more like maybe sugared powder added to it with tons and tons of sandalwood. And that initial smoke is kind of somewhere in the background. And that leather is really almost unnoticeable at that point. And that is how it stays until the end. So this is basically how this fragrance smells to me. I want to say that it is a little bit more masculine leaning, in my opinion. Like maybe we could call it a masculine version of Lost Cherry. Although, you know, obviously anyone can wear anything that they want. Although in a deep dry down, like I said, it really becomes a lot more feminine on my skin. Like it really, really changes. It really changes. Yeah, so that's how it smells. The obvious question here is, well, is it similar to Lost Cherry? Because, you know, as excited as I was about this new release, I was immediately worried, well, I hope it's different from Lost Cherry because we don't need another Lost Cherry, right? And I think based on my description, you can tell that, yeah, this is different. This is definitely different. This is definitely a standalone fragrance. So no, I mean, you know, obviously there is a note of cherry that's similar, but that's it, the rest of the fragrance is built quite differently. So there's definitely a place for this scent. Overall, I think it's an interesting scent. I love that it's different from Lost Cherry. It is also different for me from the other cherry scents that I have tried. So it's a nicely put together scent. Is it full bottle worthy? Well, depends on what you like. For me, I don't think it's full bottle worthy because, in that initial stage, there's just too much leather. For me, even though the leather is nice, but there's too much of it. So no, I don't think it's full bottle worthy for me, but that doesn't make it into a bad scent. For those of you that can handle leather, this could be really good. Now, let's talk about something else, that for me is important, and that is performance. For me, this is where this fragrance really falls short. It doesn't perform. At the beginning, when I got that strong smoke and leather, I thought, whoa, this is going to be a beast. But it is not. It is not. It doesn't have good projection from the very beginning. Like, when someone is close to me, they really have to be close to smell this scent. Even if they're standing a couple of meters away, they can't smell it. Projection is very, very mild to non-existent. Let's put it this way. So, projection is not there. And lasting power, it's not good. Is it the same as Lost Cherry? I don't know. Honestly, because I know that Lost Cherry has bad performance, I always really overspray it. With this fragrance, I have this little decant, and it's not exactly my type of scent, so I'm not quite brave enough to overspray it. So perhaps if I did that, it would have the same lasting power as Lost Cherry, because for now, on me, it is even worse. But let's say with overspraying, I think maybe it will get to Lost Cherry lasting power. I don't believe it will go above that. So, lasting power, in my opinion, is not good. And, obviously, Tom Ford fragrances are quite expensive. So, you be the judge if this is worth to you or not. So, I think it's a nicely put together scent. It's a standalone scent. It's not similar to Lost Cherry. I still would classify it as a little bit more masculine than feminine. And unfortunately, performance is very much lacking in my opinion. So there you go. Sweet and short. There is no need to make this video too long. These are my thoughts on Tom Ford's Cherry Smoke. I should also mention that from what I understand, there is another cherry scent that Tom Ford is supposed to release this year. I think it's called Electric Cherry, if I'm not mistaken. So I definitely want to try that one. I'm not brave enough to blind buy it. So hopefully I'll be able to find another decant or sample or something. And if I do, then of course, I'm going to share it with you. So let me know, have you been able to sample Cherry Smoke? Even though it is not released officially in stores, there are definitely some bottles floating around in the gray market. So, perhaps you've had a chance to try it as well. If not, are you interested in trying it? Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please remember to give me a thumbs up, to subscribe, and to comment. And I will see you soon in the next one. Bye.